This is the Furibee P180. It's GearBest's 180mm FPV racing drone. So let's take a look at the technical specifications real quick. We've got a 3K carbon fiber frame in the X frame racing style with 4mm thick carbon fiber, so that should be pretty damn durable in any kind of crashes. The flight controller is an F3 flight controller with an integrated OSD and buzzer, and I think it's the OCDAY flight controller brand specifically. The motors are 2205 2300 kV motors, and the ESCs are 30 amp BLHeli S DShot. It comes with a 5.8 gigahertz FPV transmitter, which is right in here with 40 channels, and it's got a Pagoda 2 antenna on it, which is really cool because I love the Pagoda 2. The camera is a 700 TV line CMOS PAL camera. This is the bind and fly FrSky version that binds to the FrSky Taranis QX7 or the Taranis X9D Plus or virtually any FrSky branded product. Unfortunately, I've struggled with this model since the moment I took it out of the box. The first issue that I had with it is even though it comes with an F3 flight controller with an OSD and all that, it ships with a clean flight 1.1. I think it's 15 from the year 2015. That was shocking to me because that's so old. You would think that it would ship with something recent like Beta Flight 3.1 or at least Beta Flight 3, but no, it ships with a clean flight. Now, even though you can get it in the air and you can fly, it's just not good. It's not a good experience. So right out of the box, I had to flash it with Betaflight. I did run into a little bit of trouble when I flashed it to Betaflight, and that's because I didn't realize that the board orientation on this model is actually mounted upside down. So when I simply flashed Betaflight, configured my settings, the quad would just turn itself over when I would attempt to fly. Holy Make sure that you set your yaw degrees to either 270 or -90 when you flash Betaflight to this. Otherwise, you'll run into the same problem. That's mostly a rookie mistake on my part. However, I figured I would share that with you because if you're new and you're looking to buy something like this, that's going to be something you need to know. Even though you might fly it with clean flight for a while, you're going to want to flash this to Betaflight. The second issue that I'm having with this, and I've been unable to resolve it, is that the video transmitter is full of lines. And what do I mean by that? Well, my video transmission has lines through it, and as you can see here in the example I'm putting up, is you can see lines no matter what's happening. Whether the quad is stationary, whether it's in the air, the lines are always consistent and they always stay the same. While it doesn't make it unflyable, it's kind of annoying to constantly see lines in your FPV feed. I haven't been able to figure out what the reason for this is. I did notice that some of the things inside the P180 are not grounded properly, and that could be a potential reason for the issues with the VTX, or it could just be a not so great VTX. Again, I haven't really figured out what the issue is there, but it did not prevent me from flying it despite the lines being there. Another issue that I have with the P180 is that for some reason, the FrSky receiver that they have installed is inside the quadcopter. They just stuffed it inside, and the antennas were all inside, shielded inside this carbon fiber. It's terrible for reception. I was getting transmission signal warnings, RSSI low warnings, just a little bit like way out to there, until I yanked up a little bit of an antenna past the carbon fiber so I could get it in through here. I've since unscrewed the side plate and the top plate, and I moved the receiver wires. This is the way I have it set up now. I know it's not perfect. You're not really supposed to have your antennas touching the bottom of the carbon fiber right there, but they are covered in a little bit of plastic on the ends, so I've noticed a significantly better range once I did that, because the way it was set up was just unusable for me, at least, because as you can see, I have this nice wide open space to fly, but I could only get down to about there until I pulled that antenna up. No, I'm not going to have this fail safe like that. Another issue with this thing, and I'm sorry, I'm just naming issue after issue, but I really feel like I have to go over this. Besides the fact that the VTX is full of lines when flying, unfortunately, the OSD is just wrong. The OSD will flash some incorrect information for a while regarding your battery life. It's actually funny because I've seen the voltage go up. Instead of going down, the voltage will go up to an incorrect amount and then it'll kind of just drop off. So I thought that was really kind of funny. But I don't really know if it's worth trying to fix it because I can't get it to stay. Even if I could fix the OSD, why bother? Because it's just going to keep going out. Hopefully I'll just either fix the OSD or somehow kill it entirely. So basically I would not consider this one to have an OSD as it is not working when it is shipped out to people. This is a minor complaint. I'm not really a fan of this because, at least for me anyway, the batteries that I have when I mount this on there, they just fit a bit awkwardly. That's also because my leads are so long, but again, I'm not really a fan of this because I really can't get this down flat onto anything. Well, I kind of have to take off from within the grass every single time, which is really not ideal. That might just be unique to my situation because of my battery. This issue could have been resolved by not having this soldered right in here. Not really a fan of that at all, and I think it's a liability, but that remains to be seen. They include a strap for you to, I guess, either have as a spare or to run through here to maybe put like a GoPro session or a run cam. As you can see, it fits in there fully and it's nice and snug. It's not going to fall out, but it makes it fly like a dog. The weight is just really a bit much for it. It could be that I haven't tuned it to fly with the camera all the way, as I am just running the stock Betaflight vids, but I just felt like it didn't have the oomph that it did once I put this run cam camera on there, and I really didn't enjoy the experience. So I'm not planning on flying with a camera on here anytime soon, as most of my cameras are probably about as heavy as this Run Cam 3. That being said, it did take a beautiful photo with the Run Cam 3. I didn't even have any jello. So if there was a way to run some sort of camera on here that's lightweight, that you know of, you could definitely put it on top of here. And there's plenty of room as well for maybe a longer camera like a Run Cam 2, maybe without a battery, or say the Firefly Q6. Those are definitely possible viable options. However, I do not own either of them at this time. I don't normally complain about props, but I'm just going to complain about them for this one, simply because the previous Furibee 200 had some excellent props that came with it. The stock props that were shipped with this were of very questionable quality, so I went ahead and replaced them with the HQ 4x4.3 by 3 V1S props, and these are awesome. These are really, really awesome, and they're much more durable than the stock propellers, which honestly, if you crash even the slightest bit with them, you're gonna bust them up your first day, the second you hit a small branch or something like that, and you're gonna cause maybe more damage to your P180 because the props are just junk. I don't even know what brand they are. I took a look at them and I can't tell what brand they are. They look like they're some sort of Dow prop knockoff, in all honesty, but other than that, these are excellent props, and I would highly recommend, if you order this, to go ahead and get these. One more very strange thing about the P180, and it's not a big deal once you know it, but it has no USB port, and I went to plug it in to flash Betaflight, and I was thinking, oh, how do I plug this in? Well, it turns out it comes with an Ftdi programmer cable, which is both a good and a bad thing. because, well, it does have ports to configure your OSD, amongst some other things. So this cable is multi-purpose, and this is the socket you need to plug in, just like that, to manage your quad's beta flight. And then you plug a USB cable right into here, a little micro USB, and then you're ready to go. But it doesn't come like this. You have to assemble the wires. Again, it's not really that big of a deal. You just need to be aware of it and be aware of the sequence that you need to plug this in to make that work. I think it would have been a lot easier had they just put a USB port on it. I'm sorry if I sound frustrated, guys, because I just don't understand how we went from this, the Furibee Futon 200, which is awesome. I have flown this thing all summer long. I just did a long-term review of it. You could tell I didn't just fly it once and put it away. Look at it. Mine's all scraggly. It's been crashed. It's been fixed a few times. This is a solid model. Furibee did an excellent job. It's hard for me to even believe that this is a Furibee brand product. From the receiver just being stuffed inside to the OSD being a mess, and you know, things aren't grounded in here. Clean flight from 2015. I'm sorry, but what is going on with this? It's far from, say, bind and fly. Yeah, you can bind it and you can fly, but is it going to be a good experience? No, it's not. I will take some more time to play with it, but I've already had it for a few weeks now, between, you know, waiting for another prop order, toying with the beta flight, trying to see if I could get the OSD to work or stay disabled. And I've gotten to a point where I'm just going to move on to some other things and rather stop trying to perfect something that I believe should already be perfect out of the box. It could be a really, really good model if some of these little things were fixed, because honestly, a lot of this just feels like bad software and a little quality control. For example, it wouldn't have been hard at the factory to tell the guy, don't stuff the receiver inside the body of the quad. It's going to suffocate it inside the carbon fiber. That's not hard. Honestly, I just can't recommend Furibee P180. I wanted to like it. I wanted to give it a fair shake, and it's been more frustrating for me out of the box than I have honestly spent getting to fly it, which is a shame because I love the 180 size and form factor, and the camera itself looks decent. It's a Foxier camera, and the carbon fiber is decent. I mean, I've definitely crashed this quite a bit. Unfortunately, though, those things don't make up for all of the shortcomings for what is supposed to be a bind and fly model. Hopefully, maybe in another revision, Furibee will make the P180 better, and I'm definitely willing to give it another try, as long as they're willing to send another one out to me. I hope I didn't sound too angry at it. It's just a quadcopter, but I'm trying to give you a dose of honesty about it. And I would still fly this. I'm going to still fly it until I can't fly it anymore. But it's not one of my favorites at this time. Of course, if I do bring any significant improvements to it or figure out some of the issues with it, I will certainly update you guys about the P180, and it could end up becoming a decent little 180mm model as long as you're willing to work on it. Alright, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the review, and as always, have a great day, guys.